Okay, so we've already talked about graphing linear inequalities and we've talked about solving linear inequalities, but now we're going to talk about writing them. Um, and when your EOC and your test ask you to write a linear inequality, they're going to give you something that looks very similar to standard form. So standard form was the one that looked like this. AX plus BY equals C. I'm going to put a box around that, okay? Because C is our constant. Now we know what that word is. Okay, so this is our constant. Okay, this right here is where our inequality sign is going to go. All right, and we have A, X, B, Y. These are the coefficients. Okay, so how do we solve a linear inequality that looks like it's in standard form? Okay, so we want to get y by itself. Okay, so y by itself. Okay, so if we want to get y by itself, we are either going to, step one, we're either going to add or subtract the ax from both sides. The ax, and I'm going to put term from both sides. Okay, so if this is a positive, we're going to subtract it. If it's negative, we're going to add it. And then, step two, we're going to divide everything by b, by the coefficient. And I actually forgot a step here. Okay, so step three, if b is negative, change the inequality. ITY. Okay, so remember, if b is negative, that inequality is going to switch directions. Okay, so let's go through a couple of examples. I think I have two examples for us today. So the first one, we have 3x minus 2y is less than 10. So step one is add or subtract the ax term from both sides. So this is a positive 3x. If it was negative, there'd be a minus sign in front of it. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. Okay. The biggest mistake that a lot of people make is when these cancel out, we're good to go. But a lot of people will say, well, 10 minus 3x, that's 7x. We can't do that because they're unlike terms. Okay, and we learned about that last week. They're unlike terms. So on the left-hand side, we have a negative 2y is less than 10 minus 3x. Okay? So then step two is divide everything by b. So b is that negative 2, negative 2. So these are going to 1 out, I guess. They become 1. But because it's negative, we're going to flip that sign. Okay? So instead of a less than, it becomes greater than. 10 divided by negative 2 is negative 5. Negative divided by negative is a positive, and I'm going to leave it 3 halves because if I were to ask you to graph it, so if this is negative 5, negative 4, negative 3, negative 2, negative 1, 1, 2, 3. So if I were to ask you to graph this, it would go through, there's my y-intercept. So it goes through right here. This is my slope. So we go up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 2. Okay, this is a greater than sign, so I know I'm going to shade above the line, but there's no line underneath it, so it's a dashed line, it's a dotted line. So it might look something like that. Okay? So question number 2, we have, let me fix the camera here. 5x minus 3y is less than or equal to negative 15. So we move the ax. This is positive, so I'm going to subtract. Okay, these cancel. So negative 3y is less than or equal to, and I'm going to put it in a different order. Okay, negative 5x minus 15. Okay. So that's the first step. Second, divide by b. Because b is negative, we flip this sign. So we get that y is greater than or equal to negative 5 divided by negative 3 is a positive 5/3. Negative 15 divided by negative 3 is a plus 5. Okay? And then we would graph it, shade solid line. We would shade above the line because it's greater than. And that's about it.